You're proposing safety symbols are designed to show appropriate behavior. But if it's showing appropriate behavior, how does it show appropriate behavior? How does it communicate that behavior?
With pictures?
With a picture. Why by picture?
So you know what it looks like when you have to use it.
You know what it looks like when you have to use it? What else can a picture do for us?
It's faster than reading.
It's faster than reading. So if I showed you skull and crossbones, for example, you are either thinking poison or pirates, and then you will evaluate the situation and see which one is more probable. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in here you see skull and crossbones, and which one seems the most probable?
Pirates.
Clearly it's pirates. Clearly. I come into work every day, and I'm like, dear God, please don't let me encounter any pirates. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, seems rational.
Yep, very much.
So, safety symbols are going to show appropriate behavior by picture. And the one that we're most familiar with is our skull and crossbones. I don't have to show you that one. You're probably also familiar with the radiation one. It looks like whales' tails in a circle, right? Mm-hmm. You're probably also familiar with the biohazard one. You may have seen that one. Up to this point, safety symbol, you see it at a gas station all the time. The no smoking sign, right? At the gas station, it's not like, just to be polite to those around us, don't smoke. At the gas station, that's a safety symbol. Agreed?
Agreed.
Now, I thought of you guys last night, and I was kind of sad that I had to think of you guys last night in this context, because it kind of bummed me out a bit. It's kind of a sad story. Any of you who watched the news last night saw the news about a family who had a house fire, and the 17-year-old daughter passed away. She was in the basement. She couldn't get out in time. Firefighters got her out, but things had gotten too bad, so they weren't able to save her. How it happened, from what the news report was, they were using a grill in the garage. Now, I don't know if you know how your car works, but your car is what we call an internal combustion engine. Combustion means fire, right? Your car operates on the idea of burning gasoline. Burns the fuel, literally. Burns. The heat of the grill was enough to ignite the gas tank of the car. That ignited the rest of the house. That is very easily solved by following some simple safety symbols. There were a lot of things in that garage, if it's like any other garage I've ever been in, that tells us that's a bad idea. Any gas tank you have in your garage will have a flame with a no symbol across it, right? It's a safety symbol. It's one we're all familiar with. We all know that one. That's why I ask you guys to carefully heed safety symbols in any situation you encounter them. I know it seems like a very improbable thing, but that family also didn't expect it. So we always prepare and we follow very simple rules. Now in here you're going to learn your safety symbols as you use them. So today I'm going to show you a handful of safety symbols that we are going to use in this class. We're going to review the necessary lab equipment before we do the activity, and then we're going to make sure we know the safety symbols that go with it. So the first one. You're like, it's a peculiar one. Sometimes also drawn as a diamond with a C, and it means corrosive. Corrosive is an interesting science word that actually means to denature protein. So it will denature protein. You are mostly a great deal of protein. Your skin, your hair, muscles, all that, your protein. Your eyeballs, protein. Corrosive substances, when they come into contact with proteins, break them down. They destroy the chemical structure of the protein. You do this when you take a T-bone and you toss it on the grill. You use heat to denature proteins. It's called cooking. In chemistry, we actually call it a Maillard reaction. It's a chemical reaction where you denature proteins intentionally for a desired result. Unfortunately, there are chemicals that when they come into contact with your eyes, your flesh, your hair, will destroy all of those compounds. It's not going to do anything to the desk. The desk's not made out of protein. It's not going to do anything to glass. The glass is not made out of protein. So we mark any of these chemicals so you are aware when we use them, they will, in fact, denature any protein. How do you handle it when you get one of those corrosive things in your eye?
Eye wash.
And when it's on a part of your body that does not fit in the sink?
Stripping those in the shower.
You're going to end up taking off any affected clothing, and into the shower it goes. Or into the shower you go. Using the safety blanket, right, is the shower curtain.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so like, let's say I get on my skirt and I have shorts under, do I just take off my shorts too?
If it's saturated your skirt and it's on your shorts, yes. I'm only going to pull this about halfway. Keep in mind, this is me like really pulling it already.
It's raining.
That was not even close to halfway. That was probably a quarter of the way up.
It's like triple.
This is why you wear a beach dress on this day, because you get a shower. I told you when we talked about it that it was like a fire hydrant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not a gentle rain shower. So when corrosive things get on that torso and on that skin, into the safety shower we go until EMS arrives.
Like, let's say it got on your belly. How, if the trash can's underneath, how are you gonna...
Trash can won't be there. Trash can's only there so I don't make a mess of
Then
the
where's
floor.
all the water gonna go?
The floor.
That's the least of your problem.
That's basically it. In the case of any emergency, we always look at the essentially when we look at anything like that, we think about the ethical argument. What is the greatest good? And we're trying to commit the greatest good. It is much better to get corrosive things off your body and get the floor wet than it is to protect the floor and not heal you. So that's the decision we make.
It burns my skin, but I don't want to water the floor.
The next symbol. What was your question?
But I think it's a multiple. That was her question.
Shower together.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. The only way that's going to happen is if you end up dropping a large stock bottle. And I will show you something about our large stock bottles. Our large stock bottles, plastic. I'm not going to shatter.
Except if you give them to me.
I'm not handing you this. The next safety symbol you should be familiar with. It looks like a little garbage can because that's what it is. This is disposal safety. And this is where a lot of you would be like, oh yeah, this is kind of obvious. Don't throw sharps away. Like, don't throw needles away in the garbage can, right? Absolutely. I agree with you. But there are also some other things we have to be pretty careful about when we go to dispose of them. One of which is broken glass. We never put broken glass in the garbage. Broken glass goes in this bucket that stays underneath the sinks here. It's called the broken glass bucket. We put it there because, well, at the end of the day, our friends in maintenance walk from classroom to classroom and they empty out the garbage cans. They push down the trash in the can first.
Ow.
Right? You don't want to do that. So broken glass goes in the broken glass bucket, and so it can all be disposed of at the same time safely. We're also going to use what would be considered a biohazardous material today. So any biohazardous material I do not simply just toss in the garbage can. One, if it's really a biohazard, it could potentially infect someone. Two, When you see what we use today, well, you'll just understand. 3, again, it's out of respect for maintenance. And again, you'll understand why when you see. All things we dispose of have special disposal techniques. If it is something that goes in the garbage can, I'll tell you, trash is fine. If it's something that goes down the sink with lots and lots of water, I'll tell you lots of water and down the sink. So all of these things have their own specific procedure. Next one that you'll broken glass. It's a test tube that's been broken. That's what that picture is. And it's trying to indicate to us that there are certain procedures that we follow for broken glassware. Goes in the broken glass bucket. But if you're going to use glass in any experiment, it's also telling you it's very, very important that you examine it for fractures or cracks or chips before you start. Any glassware that is fractured, cracked, or chipped can, in fact, break the rest of the way while you're doing your experiment. We don't want that to happen. That's bad, generally speaking. You know, you're holding a test tube and it had a fracture in it, and you're like, no big deal. I'll just do this small-scale chemical reaction in my test tube anyway, and then it cracks in your hand. Well, that's a problem.
Hands in the sink.
Then hands go in the sink. Absolutely. So we always examine any glassware for fractures, cracks, or chips. Anything that's broken goes in the broken glass bucket. And also, it kind of gives us a general idea. Just be careful with glass things. Turns out, glass, much like it does at home, here it breaks. I know, it's really, truly stunning. First hour told me they didn't need me to explain this last symbol. How many of you are like, yeah, that one's... I got that, wear an apron.
You can just explain.
I will explain a few things about my aprons here because, especially in honors biology, we come in a great variety of heights. Some of you have reached my height already, some of you have not. That's life, that's where we're at. Our aprons reside in this drawer right here, and you'll notice it's not like the cute frilly apron I do my baking in at home. This is a special rubberized apron that prevents corrosive material from penetrating it. So if you are wearing your apron, you don't have to worry so much about having to take off your clothes to get in that shower, right? So we wear our apron when we see that symbol. You'll notice I'm tying the apron on my front. The strings are generally long enough that it can make it all the way around your person and tie it on the front. It can make it all the way around 2 people here to be tied on the front. So it's generally speaking, they're long enough. And I recommend doing that because it's really easy to untie yourself then. If you tie yourself back here and you get knotted in it, you're likely going to come up to me. Like, remember in first grade when you couldn't get your coat off and you had to go to your first grade teacher and be like, and either they helped you unzip it or you had to step out of your coat. That happens with lab aprons when they get tied behind us. So I recommend tying it on the front. They live here, special folding technique. It's very complicated. You're going to be like, I don't know, they can never fold an apron. It looks like an apron. Looks like a rectangle. Looks like a long, skinny rectangle. I know, this is like magical voodoo. It looks like a shorter rectangle. A rectangle looks like a skinnier rectangle. These strings, set it on your table, put them inside the skinny rectangle so they're nice and neatly tucked in. Fold the skinny rectangle into a little square, and then it goes in the drawer. Aprons are always here. Whenever you see that symbol, always in this drawer. You don't even ask permission to get them. I know what you're going for. Just get an apron. You'll notice aprons are long. They're very long here, with the intention of protecting all the way down to your feet. But I can't do what we're going to do in these shoes. Why not? Open toes. So today, when I walked out the door this morning, grabbed an extra pair of shoes. And they're just like way more comfortable with the Toms with the fuzzy insides. Now my toes are protected. Now I don't have to worry about hoisting my foot up to get it in the sink. If I get chemical on my foot, it's just my foot. We talked about this one at the beginning of the hour, right? No fire. That means you're going to be working with things that are flammable, and you do not want to use open flame. This one is often misinterpreted. So this means that you are working with flammable things. There are 3 things that are necessary for combustion. Oxygen, fuel, and a source of ignition. What this symbol is telling you is that oxygen and fuel are abundant. Do not introduce a source of ignition. So don't strike a match, don't light your grill, don't have a cigarette, don't bring a candle, don't make a spark. That's what this symbol means. You have oxygen, you have fuel, don't introduce number 3, ignition. Those are the 3 things that are necessary for combustion every single time. That's why spontaneous combustion can't happen, because you're not spontaneously going to generate a spark. Ignition isn't spontaneous. Has to have some kind of energy provided. That's why I know you're safe sitting next to him. Just because I super duper like to review, how do we use a fire extinguisher?
Okay, so we calmly grab it.
Okay.
And we pull the stringy thing.
The pin, okay. So we pull the pin.
And then we put the black tube, and we don't touch the metal because it'll get super cold. And then we press the lever, and in the tubing position at the bottom, we spray it, and we go not too close, 6 feet away outside.
3 meters, 10 feet. Yep. Back to the door, right? So we pull, aim, squeeze, sweep, back to the door, 10 feet away. Life is good. Oh, look at this. See, you're already more prepared than you were a week ago. This is brilliant. And of course, if it's on a person, we're not going to use the fire extinguisher. What will we use instead?
Safety blanket. We will pat and not rub up to the
We are going to use the safety blanket, keeping in mind that the safety blanket not only is excellent for a fire on a person, it's also excellent for a small tabletop fire. And, of course, it's an excellent shower curtain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We should just have another shower.
Yeah.
I'll make
There is one safety symbol I did not put in this presentation because I think that it's kind of an obvious one. If you saw a symbol with a pair of goggles, what should you put on?
No goggles.
I'm going to tell you this completely honestly. I genuinely believe that I would rather look like a nerd for 20 minutes, and for the 10 minutes after I take off my goggles, I would rather rock those goggle lines than be blind. How many of you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. The number one argument I usually get from students about why they are not wearing their goggles is because it's going to leave goggle lines, and I have to go to my next hour. Really? So I'm going to give you, my friends, hopefully,